Okay, so let's take a look at exponents. So let's take a look at something like 7 squared. So the 7 is the base and the 2 is the exponent or power. Look in the notes for all these things. Feel free to put an arrow to the 7 and say base and an arrow to the 2 and say exponent, or whichever, but write down these notes or print out these notes, etc. Now that just means 7 times 7. I don't care that the answer is 49. I just want to show what I know what it means. Now, remember, never multiply the base by the exponent. 7 to the power of 2, or 7 squared, is not 7 times 2. Great. Now, in order to use any of the rules that we're going to be doing, we just have to have the same base. So let's take a thing like 2 cubed times 2 squared, multiplying with the same base. So the definition of 2 cubed is 2 times 2 times 2, and the definition of 2 squared is 2 times 2. So it's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 5 2s, however many. So we know that it's 2 to the 5. Now where can we get 5 from? Well, we can just add the exponents together. So if that's difficult, everything that I'm saying, just read the notes. I literally read the notes. Multiply with the same base. Add the exponents. 2 cubed is 2 times 2 times 2, and 2 squared is 2 times 2. And if you line up all those 2's in a row, it's just 2 to the 5. Easy. Easy, easy. Add exponents. So if that's difficult for you, remember to write down the English instructions. Add the exponents like it's in the notes. Either way, we have 5 squared times 5 to the 4. And in the notes, you can see that I've written it all out. And this time, I'm just going to add the exponents right where it is. 2 plus 4 is 6. I forgot to circle my answers. So always check your answer on your calculator. 2 cubed times 2 squared, typing in the left-hand side of the equation. And 2 cubed is 8, and 2 squared is 4, and 8 times 4 is 32, so 32 equals. And on the right-hand side, we have 2 to the 5, so I'm going to count with my fingers. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, times 2 is 32. So the right-hand side is also 32, so I'm going to put a check mark beside my answer. Not sometimes, not when your teacher asks you to, not when you feel like it, all the time. Every single time you ever do a math question, check your answer or do the reverse process to make sure, or figure out another example to figure out if you've done it correctly. So you don't have to say things like, my teacher didn't give me the answer key. So notice there's a whole bunch of extra stuff in the note page. Again, print it all off or write down this and some of the instructions or some order. Either way, when we're multiplying with the same base, we add the exponents. So I'm going to write a little shortcut in red, times equal plus. Now, I don't like to do that very often because that doesn't actually mean. So I'm going to put a little asterisk beside it. Whatever. So now dividing with the same base. So let's take something like 3 to the 5 over 3 squared. So as you can see in the notes, 3 to the 5 is 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, 5 3's. 3 squared is 3 times 3 on the bottom. So when we expand the whole thing, we have a bunch of 3's on the top and a bunch of 3's on the bottom. Well, 3 over 3 is 1, and 1 times anything is anything, so we can cross off a 3 from the top and the bottom. Well, there must be a better way. Well, as you can see in the example below in the notes, we just take 3, the base, and simply subtract the exponents. So 5 minus 2 equals 3 to the 5 minus 2 is 3. Now, I'm just going to circle my answer. I don't care. I could say 3 cubed is 3 times 3 times 3 equals 3 times 3 is 9 times 3 is 27. So sure, I know the answer is 27, but we want to leave it in exponential form to fully make sure that we understand these rules only and not get confused and think, oh, what do we do? Turn to a simplified exponential form or answer the question. So off to the right, we have a different elementary school divided by sign for vertical bar. 4 to the 6 divided by 4 cubed. And we're going to write that simply as 4 to the 6 over 4 cubed. And as we just learned in the last example, if we're dividing, we simply subtract the exponents. So we get 4 cubed. 6 minus 3 is 3. Circle our answer. Now, again, as I forgot, in the last question, I want to make sure that I type that into the calculator. So 3 to the 5 is whatever it is. 3 to the 5 is 243 divided by 3 squared is 243 over 9, which equals 27. So the question is 27, and we got an answer of 3 cubed, which we knew was 27. So we can say check mark near our answer. Then we can type in 4 to the 6 divided by 4 cubed equals, now we're going to get 64. So 64 equals, and 4 cubed is also 64. So a check mark near our answer. Okay, so we have multiplying with the same base where we add the exponents. And now if we're dividing, we subtract the exponents. Again, I'm going to put an asterisk because it's not exactly that. You know what? I'm going to turn those equal signs in both of those boxes to arrows. A little bit better. Maybe you don't need the asterisk, but multiplying means add the exponents. Dividing means subtract the exponents. Again, remember in the top right-hand corner of the notes, never multiply the base by the exponent. And you may say something silly like 2 squared is 4 and 2 times 2 is 4. So that means don't. Don't. Okay, never multiply the bases by the exponents. And you must have the same base to use any of these laws. You can just make up some random rule in your head like 3 squared times 4 to the 5 equals 12 to the 7 and say, oh, well, I added the exponent, so I'm right. Not equal to slash through the equal sign. Those are not the same. Type in your calculator, whichever you might think it is. 3 squared times 4 to the 5 equals, in red, 9216. 12 to the exponent 7 equals 358. Don't even care. Not equal to each other. Math is simple. Figure it out. Check your answer. All sorts of questions. You're going to learn so much by checking your answer. If it's not correct, that means that you can go back and figure out what you did wrong. Then all of a sudden you just build the confidence to be able to do math at home, by yourself, without any help. Much, much easier. Being able to check your answer and see if you did the method right. Telling you that you may or may not have done the method right. Letting you know to go back and learn the correct method until it's correct.